The Voices of Mexican Birds, Volume 1, recorded by L. Irby Davis of Harlingen, Texas, and produced by the Laboratory of Ornithology at Cornell University. Mexico is a land of contrasts. Ancient cultures still exist in the shadow of modern skyscrapers. Snow-capped mountains are but a few hours' drive from steaming tropical forests. Lakes, marshes, and deserts lie side by side. Little wonder that this inviting land teems with a great variety of animal life. Nearly 1,000 kinds of birds have been listed within its borders. Many of these are migrants from the United States and Canada, but about half never reach the United States, though some of them extend their ranges into the tropics further south. Throughout the year, forests, fields, and brush lots ring with strange voices. In many places during April, May, and June, the daybreak chorus is astounding. In this record will be heard the songs or calls of representative birds of this remarkable country. But before they are identified for you, we will let you hear the early morning chorus in some of the typical habitats. First, the dawn chorus near a noisy farmyard on the highway south of Valles, where the chirping of crickets and the crows of the roosters mingle with the hooting of motmots, the whistling of tinamous, and the chuckling of the saltators. Now we will journey to the lowland rainforest of Veracruz, with its parrots, toucans, cotingas, and shrike vireos. 5,000 feet up the mountains in Chiapas is another humid area, the cloud forest, home of the solitaire, ant thrush, toucanet, and quetzal. Now, Mr. Davis will take his parabolic reflector and sensitive microphone and point up some of these interesting songs and calls and identify them for you. He will start with the primitive families and end with the true singing birds.
From the brush-covered floor of the woodland comes the haunting mellow whistle of the rufescent tinamou, a bird often heard but seldom seen. From a tree top, a ridgeway black hawk screams. Calling from another tree is the laughing falcon. The much smaller white-throated falcon calls from a tall stub near its nest. An uncommon game bird of the forest, the great curassow, makes a growl-like boom as he bows down to force air from an inflated pectoral sac. A small flock of a more common game bird, the eastern chachalaca, calls from the top of a brushy thicket. In addition to the usual three-syllable songs, various purrs and noisy cackles are made. The more pleasing cackle of the gray-necked wood rail is given at dusk from the edge of a woodland pond. On an open savanna, a flock of double-striped thick-knees chatter and call excitedly. The low, sonorous tones of the red-billed pigeon swell out from the woods. One of the most characteristic sounds of the rainforest is the plaintive song and purr of the short-billed pigeon. Red-eared parrots converse in a humid southeastern forest. They almost warble at times. White-fronted parrots identify themselves by their barking yat, yat, yat. The squawks of the Red Crown Parrot of northeastern Mexico are often punctuated with the distinctive call of Cleo. The common ground dove is heard in the background. A bird of the lowland rainforest, the blue-crowned parrot, frequently says chop chop. A black member of the cuckoo family, the groove-bill ani, now gives a variety of calls. The ani is a common roadside bird in many parts of Mexico. While calling from a perch near the ground, the rufous-rumped cuckoo seems to tire before completing his song. By day or night, the ferruginous pygmy owl repeats his staccato notes. At dusk, the calls of the paraki or cuejo are heard. On the Pacific slope, the cucachilla, also known as the Ridgeway whippoorwill, calls at dusk and far into the night. In a cloud forest of Chiapas, the rare quetzal gives its two-note call and also its flight song. A group of citrulline trogons give their chattering calls in an open woods of Oaxaca. The monotonous bawl-too in the background is made by the Inca dove, and the low burry hoots by the Mexican mot-mot. From a high perch above a stream come the rattles of two large ringed kingfishers. Amid the morning chorus of the rainforest, the soft double hoot of the Lesson motmot is heard. The collared aracari's squeaky calls are heard in humid woods. In similar woods, several keel-billed toucans call as they swing their enormous bills from side to side. In Mexico, the lineage woodpecker replaces the pileated of more northern regions. As he clings to the bark of a tree, an ivory-billed woodhewer demonstrates two of his songs. A rufous-breasted Synallaxis now calls from a tangle of low shrubs. In brushy areas, the barred antshrike repeats his song with his distinctive hiccup at the end. The mellow whistle of the black-faced ain't thrush comes from the floor of a dense, humid forest. The bright-rumped attila calls like a flycatcher from the top of a tree. The voice of the Mexican Bacard is clear and sweet. On a low perch in the rainforest, a red-capped or yellow-thighed manakin snaps his wings and buzzes. In the distance is the eerie cry of the book-hard tinamou. A long-tailed manakin gives two different calls in tropical woods of western Chiapas. Next, we hear a tropical kingbird calling from a perch by the roadside. Also, near the road is a boat-billed flycatcher. The plaintive whistle of the olivaceous flycatcher is heard in many wooded areas. Just as the dawn is breaking, two small belted flycatchers sing from nearby perches in central Chiapas. The frog-like chirr of the tiny bent-bill flycatcher comes from the underbrush. From tropical woods in Oaxaca, several white-throated magpie jays give a few of their varied calls. The brown jay of eastern Mexico has a quite limited vocabulary. Here is an excited flock in Veracruz. In a dry lowland thicket, a rufous-naped cactus wren calls, at first alone and then in duet with its mate. In another thicket in southwestern Mexico, the more musical banded wren is heard. Next, on the Atlantic slope, the varied song and trilled call of the spotted-breasted wren. In humid eastern forests, the white-breasted wood wren sings its liquid phrases. In a mountain thicket, we hear the Mexican blue mockingbird giving a few of its varied songs. South of the Isthmus of Tehuantepec, the tropical mockingbird sings like its northern relative. Hidden in dense foliage of the cloud forest, the white-throated robin recites its halting phrases. In open woods, the more common gray robin calls and then sings variations of a melody. Now, from the humid cloud forest, come the incomparable melodies of the slate-colored solitaire, or clarino. In the undergrowth of an oak woods, the song of an orange-billed nightingale thrush suggests that of a white-eyed vireo. In humid eastern woods, the long-billed ant wren trills from low vines and bushes. At times, along the borders of woods, the rufous-browed pepper shrike sings this cheerful song. From tall trees in the rainforest, the emerald shrike vireo repeats its phrases of 3 or 4 syllables. In the drier woods of Oaxaca, the golden vireo gives 8 or 9 syllables to its phrases. The bunting-like song of the gray-headed ground chat is often heard in open country. On the rocky, wooded slope of eastern Mexico, the fantail warbler sings from a low perch. From a sweet gum tree in the cloud forest, the golden crown warbler sings while a quetzal calls in the background. The Montezuma or pendula clucks and gurgles in eastern lowland forests. In western woods, Mexican caciques produce discordant songs. Along the highway in cultivated areas, in farmyards, and in city plazas, a chorus of great-tailed grackles is a familiar sound. Another familiar voice in eastern Mexico is that of the melodious blackbird. In humid woods of the east, we hear the distinctive songs of the yellow-tailed oriole. Sharp chirps and phrases are made at times by the female. In oak woods and cloud forests, the striped-backed tanager sings like a scarlet tanager. From underbrush in a lowland forest come the short songs of the red-crowned ant tanager. In dense tropical thickets of eastern Mexico, the black-headed saltator smacks and chuckles. In tropical woods of both eastern and western Mexico, the gray saltator gives a more musical song. The hookah-doo in the background comes from the Inca dove. The loud, clear song of the yellow grosbeak is now heard as it comes from tropical woods of the west. The dry rattle of the olive sparrow is heard in brushy woods. Finally, the sprightly song of the rusty sparrow